So now this video discusses about what we call as the reflection, where we'll be looking at the reflection of a point and also the reflection of the straight line with respect to the points. And I'll also be looking at the definition of the reflection as the essence behind the video. So if we say a reflection, it is an image of an object. That is a reflection. It is an image of an object. That is a reflection. And for the sake of interest, we'll be looking at the reflection of the points in the straight line on a given typical Cartesian plane. Think of, let's say, if we have a Cartesian plane like this. Let's say this is a typical Cartesian plane. We understand this is y-axis, and this is said as the x-axis. So now, let's say we have this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, let's say this is 4, 5, let's say 6, and this is 1, this is 2, 3, let's say 4, and this is, let's say, -1, this is -2, this is, let's say, -3, and say this is -4, and we should have, let's say, the same scale in this way along y-axis. Can be that. And let's say we have a point, let's say it is a point, I'll call it as a point P with coordinates given as, let's say, 4, should be about 3. Let's say that is the case. And mind you, a typical point on a Cartesian plane, it is denoted by having the x value and the y value. For this point, 4 is the x value and 3 is the y value. Now, what is the image of a point B along y-axis if it is to be reflected? Now, if the point is to be reflected along y-axis from this quadrant, now in this case the point is in the first quadrant, and its reflection or the image along the y-axis will be only formed if 4 is negative. Now for this case, if you think of having -4, then we'll have the point B being given as something about -4 and 3. So where is this point located? That point will be located in the second quadrant. That is, now we can call it as a point B -4, 3. So you can see that, you can see that the Stromo y value is being maintained. What is now changing? It is the x value. Now this is a new position, which is the image of a point B, which is -4, 3. So that's how you start to understand that one. So which means this is an image of the object B. So in this case, it means a point B is reflected along y-axis, in the sense that the x actually along y-axis, in the sense that y value is remain the same, but the point is only being changing with respect to the constant y value, which is 3, 3. But now what is changing? The x value. So that's how you start to understand about the reflection of the point. And how about if the point is to reflect along, let's say, x-axis? Now if the point is to reflect along x-axis, should be along about x-axis, should be, it means what will happen is that, x value will remain the same. What will only change, it is the y value. So which means we'll have it as this. X value will remain the same, but what will only change, it's actually y. that will be given as the negative 3 as y. So that will be given as 4 comma negative 3. We'll have it as that. And the point corresponding to 4 comma negative 3, it is given as, should be somewhere about, this is the point, and this is really the image of a point B, that is negative, it should be positive 4, should be a positive 4 comma actually negative 3. It should be positive 4, by the way. What's happening? It should be positive 4 comma negative 3. So this is an image of a point B along, should be x-axis. So this is how the reflection has to be. And how about the reflection of a point B with respect to the origin? So which means if that is the case, this is how it has to be. So that is the origin, where the image will be, now this is the third quadrant, where we'll have, this is negative and also this is the negative. We'll have negative 4 comma negative 3. You know, this is the point of interest. This is the point, should be negative 4 comma negative 3. So this is the point of interest, where this is the image of a point B along the origin, with respect to the origin. So that's how you have to understand that one. So in all cases, what you have to understand is that, you know, if we have, let's say, a point B with a coordinates x1, it should be xc as well as the y. Reflection along x, reflection along x, you know, a point B is more associated with negative y, and the reflection along y should be the reflection along y, should be reflection along y, you know, a point P is more associated with negative x. So have that understand. And with respect to the origin, should be along origin. You know, the reflection of a point B is more associated with you know, negative x comma negative y. So this is how you have to understand about the reflection of the points. And let's have the following problems and appreciate. Determine the reflection of the following points along x, y as well as the origin. Let's say we have a point M with coordinates negative 2, 5. What is the reflection of this point along x-axis? Should be along x-axis. Along x, the point M as the image will be given as the negative 2 and a comma negative 5. That is the reflection along x, where we multiply negative 1 to the y coordinate. And likewise along, let's say y, along y, it means the point M as the image will be given as, you know, negative times negative 2, that is 2 comma 5. That is the reflection along M, should be along y. And also in the same case, and how about with respect to the origin? With respect to the origin, in the point M will be given as, should be 2 comma negative 5. So that's how you start to understand that one. And let's think of having, let's think of plotting the points on the Cartesian plane and appreciate that one. Now for that case, we may think of, let's say, having it as, should be about 2, 4, let's say 6, let's say 2, 4, let's say 6, and let's say 8, and have negative, let's say 2, negative 4, negative 6, it can be that. let's say -2, -4, should be -6, let's say -8, like that. And the point M, which is the object, or there should be the object point M, -2, 5. So -2, 5, you know, this is the point. That is the point M. You know, -2, 5. That is a point M. Now we should have the image of the point M along X. That is -2, -5. So -2, -5. What is that point? -2, -5 should be -2, -5. Where are we? Should be, this is where the -5 is. So in this case, we are here. This is the image of a point M, -2, -5. We'll have it as that. And as you can see, you know, from this point up to this point, you know, you start to understand that the X value is not changing. It is remaining as 2, -2. So really the point is reflecting along the X-axis. So this is the image along X, if that is the case. And how about the image along Y-axis? Y-axis 2, 5. So the image corresponds to have it as 2, 5. So what is that on? So it should be at this point. So this is a point of image, you know, 2, 5. As you can see, from here up to here, you know, Y value is not changing. It is remaining 5, and what is changing is the X value. So that's the reflection you should have to understand along, you know, Y-axis. And how about with respect to the origin? That is 2, -5. You know, that corresponds to have it as 2, -5. We have it as 2, -5. You know, it should be somewhere here. That's the -5. So which means with respect to the origin, which is that the point is given as this. And really, it is satisfying the interest of having the straight line passes through the origin. So that's about the concept behind the behind the reflection. Now determine the reflection of the following points and also plot on the graph or the Cartesian plane. By the way, a point can also be regarded as the graph as well. And I just have to plot the reflection of the following points on the Cartesian plane. We have the first point, which is a point Q, that is -2, 15. We can have that. And let's say point S, -5, 7. We should have the point, let's say point M, which is 6, -4. We should have the point, let's say point N, which is more of -8, -7. We should have to plot these points and their reflections along X, Y as the origin, the way we have done it before. And let's say we have a straight line. Let's say we have, this is a point A with coordinates x1 should be x, make it as x1 and y1, like that. And we have the another point, let's say point B with coordinates x2, y2, like that. And let's think of connecting the 2 points. Now what we have is the line AB with coordinates given as A as well as the B. So now let's think of having the reflection of the line, let's say with respect to x-axis. So with respect to the x-axis, so the reflection of the line with respect to the x-axis, corresponds to have the image of a point A being given as x1 comma negative y1, and the point B image will have it as x2 comma negative y2 comma negative y2, and the reflection of the line along y-axis now corresponds to have the point A with the coordinates given as negative x1 comma y1, and the point B with the coordinates negative x2 comma y2. We'll have it as that. And origin, a line AB will correspond to have the image of a point A, that is negative x1 negative y1, and the image B negative x2 negative y2. We'll have that understand. And for instance, let's say we have a Cartesian plane. Let's say this is a typical Cartesian plane you should have to think about. And say this is, let's say, 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's say we have, this is 1, 2, let's say 3, and should be 5 here. Should be this. By the way, that is 5. And say this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4, and this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and let's say negative 4. And assuming that we have, let's say, a line with, let's say a line A should be a line with a point A, which is given as 2, 2, and we have another point corresponding to the line. Let's say this is a point B with the coordinates given as should be 4, let's say 4. Let's say that is the case, and the line it is now being given as the line AB. We can have, let's say we have it as line AB. Now, what is the reflection of the line along x-axis? Now, reflection of the line along x-axis, it means the image of a point A along x-axis will have it as 2, negative 2, and the image of the point B will have it as actually positive 4, negative 4. That is along reflection along x. And what would be that point? We'll have it as 2, negative should be 2, 2, negative 2. It is this point. 2, negative 2. It means this is the point. That is the image of a point 1, actually point A. And 4, negative should be a 4. We have that point as this. That is the image of a point B, 4, negative 4. So which means the image of the line AB, it is given as that. That is the reflection along x-axis. And how about the reflection of the line along, let's say, y-axis? Y-axis corresponds to have the points given as negative 2, 2, negative 4, should be 4. And what will be the line? We can have it as negative 2, 2. That corresponds to have something about this is the image of a point A, that is negative 2, 2. And the image of a point B, you have it as negative 4, 4. And this is, that will be negative 4, 4. And that will be, this is a point of image B, negative 4, 4. And that corresponds to have it as, that is the line. And how about, the reflection of the line along the origin? So on the point of the origin, it means we'll have negative 4, negative 4. We'll have that understand. And that is should be that of a point B image. You have negative 4, 4, and the point A image you have negative 2, negative 2. Have that understand. Negative 2, negative 2, that is the point, and the negative 4, negative 4, that's a bit the point. Then I should have that understand. That is should be A image, and this is the B image. We'll have negative 4, negative 4, and you'll have negative 2, negative 2. Anyway, that's how you used to have it. And I also brought the reflection of the actually following lines with respect to the given points. We should have to plot the reflection of the line xy with the coordinates negative 5, 2, and the y corresponds to half 0, 5. Should be 0, 7. We should have to plot this line and also its reflections along xy as well as the origin. Let's say we have a negative 4, 6, and its b, that is negative 3, negative 12. We should also have the same way. And we should also something about, let's say, m, that is 3, 10, and the n we have it as 5, should be 8. So try to have this. So that's how you start to understand about the reflection aspects. So keep that in mind. But don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you find it good. Thank you.